Hello everyone, welcome back to another Train Sim World 6 video. Today we are in Kassel to Würzburg, driving in Ice T BR411 from here at Kassel down to Würzburg Hauptbahnhof. We have Melbourne Train Guy with us today.
G'day, g'day. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's doing well.
I'm doing well anyway, and we're in the Expert 101 timetable. Hopefully the terrible sounds of the Ice T won't drive me insane, and we're looking at the roadmap today. So Melbourne, while I set up the train, punch it with the first one.
Oh, I don't know personally if I'm going to. Well, I don't think I will day one this one. I'm waiting for some more actual gameplay footage. I was just remarking to Maverick before we started the recording that this could be an interesting route for those who are looking
Oh,
for
you
a
forgot to say which
challenge.
route it was. It's Stuttgart to
Oh,
Heilbronn.
look at that
Sorry.
Melbourne train guy. No, I'm already forgetting that we did technically stop talking about this and then start again. So for the benefit of, yes, everyone who has not heard that earlier conversation, we are talking about the Frankenbahn Stuttgart to Heilbronn.
Yep.
And of course, we are talking about the DB 140, which is an interesting train.
Yeah. It's
Well, it
yeah.
looks interesting, at least to me.
What? The BR140 looks pretty decent. The Wittenberger Sturwagen cab car also looks pretty decent, I'd say. But what
You
does?
know,
Mm, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, and I do apologize if this rubs anybody the wrong way, but the cab car really reminds me a lot of the BR628, I
That's what
believe
I
it
was
is, on the
thinking. Yeah.
Niedertalbahn.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so funny. I don't know if that's by intent, one followed the other perhaps, but it's kind of interesting, at least to me.
Yeah. There we go. So yeah, Ice T's just departing. 86 kilometers to Fulda, approximately half an hour. So we did. One reason I chose Kassel to Würzburg is because me and Melbourne could natter, and all I would have to do is press CIFA, and I wouldn't have to concentrate on driving.
LZB for the win.
Yeah. Oh, hello. What are you? You are a what? Dosto with a 146 on the back, I believe. Nice. Um, where was I? Oh yes, for me, Stuttgart Heilbronn seems like another Bremen to Oldenburg because it's another 2000s era German route with a new cab car and a new new retro tap changer locomotive. That's just what I think anyway.
I mean, it's I assume you're talking about the BR
140, yes.
one. Yep, yep. It's I suppose it's going to be one of those routes where if you are a fan of this era of Deutschbahn, I hope I said that correctly,
You said it pretty
German
well.
rail.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of this era of German rail, then I suspect this is going to be right up your alley if you enjoy tap changes. I think, or rather, I hope that Dovetail angled the challenge of this route, because I know it may sound like I'm waffling on about, oh, DB trains are hard to drive, but
It's a
if you
city
look at
Sturwagen just went by. Sorry, carry on. I was just pointing out a train that
no,
was
no,
going by.
that's fine. You're on the Expert 101 timetable, I believe you said, which means
Yes.
there should be quite a bit to look at.
Yeah.
Um, I was just going to say some of the some of the train faults, including wiper faults, of course,
Yes.
are pantograph failures, circuit breaker failures, as well as handbrake doors and lighting failures. But the pan and the circuit breaker in a tap changing train could prove interesting,
Yes.
um, and could give you almost expert level train
Yeah.
driving without having to pay expert level loco DLC prices.
Yeah.
Not that it's not worth it, but we won't get off topic.
Yeah. I was going to say that the Expert BR145 and Expert 101, I hope, layer onto this line, but we don't have any confirmation of that yet.
This is one of those things where at the minute we've got a few work in progress screenshots. We've got a
Yeah.
bit of, corporate faff about the route.
Yeah.
We don't really know a lot about it. So I think once we get a little bit more information on potentially what the timetable is going to look like, what the layers might include,
Yeah.
and maybe even some more pictures of the train on the actual route. At the minute, they're just, I don't know what the environment they use for these kinds of pictures is, but it's just, for those who haven't seen the roadmap, it's a picture of the cab car and the train on a grey
It's
blender,
Blender,
I
I think.
think
I
that
think it's
might
a
be.
3D rendering program.
Um, and I guess it's only just recently been announced as well, so it is still early days, but I think to note that it is a PC and ninth gen only DLC. So
Yeah.
that's going to mean it's either going to be a chaotically busy mess or it's going to be an exceptionally beautiful masterpiece. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a middle ground in Train Sim World, so
Yeah.
time will tell.
Yeah. Going on to the Wittenberger Sturwagen, which is the cab car included with the route, I think it looks very, very similar to the BR628 that we have from the Niddertalbahn that Train Sim Germany did 2.5 years ago now.
Such a good looking cab car. I mean,
Ice
I
one,
have never
sorry.
driven. Oh, Ice One, that's the, pardon my bluntness, the square chonky looking one.
Yeah, it
I like
is.
those because they look so different amongst all of the sleek new
Yeah.
ICE trains. They look just like this old chonker just coming through.
Yeah.
Never mind aerodynamics, speed, although I'm sure it is very aerodynamic.
It's 280
Um,
kilometers an hour, so it is pretty quick, despite the flat aerodynamics.
you do really have to admire, pardon the brief escape from the train sim world, but you really do have to admire the German engineering just know-how. I can't think of the word to just describe how much I'm amazed when things that don't look like they should work well just work amazing. And it's like, how did they do it? But
Yeah.
sorry, that is something I could waffle on about all day. But
Yeah.
no, you were saying the 628, and I do definitely agree. It looks okay. There are some differences there, but I don't think we've got any pictures of inside the cab car yet, do we?
As far as I know, we've just got an exterior picture, unfortunately.
No, I think just because we have mentioned the 628, and I'm very sorry to say this map, I have enjoyed driving it a lot more on the main Talbahn than on the Niedertalbahn.
Well, yeah. Enjoy driving it on the Maintalbahn too. I do like driving the modern the modern traffic red version from time to time, and it also layers on Salzburg Rosenheim as well for a lot of services.
I prefer the minty green blue because
Yeah.
it just looks so different from all of the red and white that is basically a DB in the modern era. I
Yeah.
think it's more just I don't know because it's not a very busy route, the main Talbahn, but I think it's just having something else other than the 628 going by just adds a little bit of flavor. But
Yeah.
again, I fear I'm leading us astray.
Yeah. That's fine. So it looks as though the Wittenberger cab car, according to this, will be compatible with a lot of other locomotives, including, but not limited to, the BR218 by Train Sim Germany that was an add-on for Hamburg to Lübeck. That's quite good. The route add-on will also include the BR111, recycled from Salzburg Rosenheim, the Endwagen coaches, which were originally introduced with Bremen to Oldenburg, and the 363, which was originally introduced with Ruhr-Sig Nord back in 2018, I think.
That's the pardon me, I always forget some of the more obscure one. Not obscure for me, obscure. That's the little shunting engine, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It was originally made as an add-on for the Hagen to Finnentrop route back in 2018, which is one of the ones that I haven't got. And yeah, so
I
the
think
yeah.
it's been recycled. I'm just having a look now. I just for the benefit of people watching, I do also have Train Sim World open on my end here, just so that when Maverick mentions a train, I can look it up if I have it, just so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not going in blind. I didn't want to be going in blind. I wanted to not look like an idiot this time.
Okay.
Um, and I do have the 363 on a few routes. I'm just looking now. I can see that I've got it on the Nürburgring Dresden, the Leipzig Dresden,
Yeah.
main Talbahn. I think it's on the Nidda-Talbahn as well.
That's the
Um,
365. It's got a. It looks
okay.
similar on the outside, but it has a different prime mover. Though the sounds are identical in game.
This is one of those things. I will eventually be able to nut down all the different variants of the trains, but it is still early days when it comes to the German content.
Yeah.
Although,
Yes. Go ahead.
I think just in my final thoughts on this, I think I'm probably going to put it on the wish list when it does come out.
Okay.
And at the very worst, I think I'm going to do a wait for a sale, just based on what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
Nothing is telling me it's going to be a horrible route, but it's going to go into the wish list, and then if it looks impressive enough, because I mean, it looks like you might even be able to get into the engine compartment of the 140, which is something I enjoy. Thank you, Just Trains. I always have to give them props for their beautiful 86 and showing me what trains should be. But
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be something that you will pick up or you will wait for a sale on, but it could be an interesting one. So
Yes. Um. So passenger announcements and train faults. Ooh, there's another Expert 101 noise with a Stuhlwagen on the end. Very nice. Anyway, I got distracted. So we'll have toggleable train faults on the 140 and the Wittenberger Stuhlwagen, and passenger announcements will also be implemented. The route add-on. I already said that. This new new variant, the BR111 and N-Wagens, will be updated to feature the following faults: wiper failures, pantograph failures, circuit breaker failures, handbrake failures, stuck passenger doors, and passenger lighting failures. So, yeah. And there will also be some minor bug fixes and improvements to the 111, the N-Wagens, and the 363, as well as the faults. Yeah. In my final thoughts, I think this looks decent, and something that isn't mentioned in this article, but what we've heard before is that the BR420 S-Bahn EMU that's being developed by TrainSim Germany will also layer onto this route. We'll get a specific variant for Stuttgart Heilbronn, which is quite nice.
that is interesting, because I am actually becoming quite a fan of the S-Bahn style of play. I'll try to avoid going off topic, so I'll stop myself. But that could be something that maybe tips the balance for me when it comes to this route. I'm very big on layers, so I might have to keep my eyes peeled for that one.
Yeah. So next up is New York to Stamford, which is the only American route on this list. We'll have a Metro North M8, which is new. It will also... That is literally all the new information we know. We haven't even gotten some screenshots, but the reason for that, Dovetail says, is that they've just started working on the environment and laying the track, so I'm surprised they announced it this early, because it seems very, very early along in development.
I was just about to say the same thing. This is, I think, the third time now that we've been given the same slide. And while I appreciate the fact that it is a new American route and a new section of the NEC, I don't understand why they've announced it this far out of the gate. Like, they've not
Yeah.
even, according to what they say in the article here, they're just starting to lay environment and track. So it's definitely looking like it's going to be one of the last routes we get in the Train Sim World 6 era. Um, I would have waited until maybe mid-year and announced it then to maybe hype up maybe Train Sim World. I hate to use that term; it's a horrible term to use, but mid-year sales, and you can announce this as 3 months away. It kind of gets people excited about Christmas time, all of that kind of. I don't know. I might have just mixed up the time of years, but
Yeah. No, you're fine.
it's interesting to me that there's really nothing.
Yeah.
Um, like
Well,
that they haven't even. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I
I was
interrupted
I
you.
was just going to. No, you're right. I was just going to say, um, I don't feel like it's a hot take, or not a hot take. I don't feel like it's an out of pocket thing to say that they at least know where the routes from to what's stopping patterns are going to be. There is information that they could give us, if not pictures of the route or the included M8. Um, they could, at least give us a little bit of a taste of what the timetable is going to be.
Yeah.
Um, you know, tease us a little bit about what the route's going to look like. I mean, they're very good at using flavorful language. I'm sure they could type up a few paragraphs to get us a little bit excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It's odd, that's for sure.
yeah, it's weird because there's not really a lot to say. So I guess it's one of those we'll just have to wait and see more when they've got more to show us, I guess, and hopefully um, it's worth the wait because I get the feeling there's a lot of people who would, because American content is very lacking in Train Sim World. I get the feeling there are going to be a lot of people excited for this route, and I really, just for them more than anything, I hope that it's worth the wait,
Yeah. I hope
if
so
that
too.
makes any sense.
Yeah, that make no. Yeah, don't worry, you're fine. I have a couple of thoughts on this. I'm wondering if it's another San Bernardino situation because back in Trains of World 4, the San Bernardino line was announced, and then it was included with the Trains of World 5 core package, having already been announced as a TSW4
Oh.
add-on. So I'm wondering, is this another case of a San Bernardino-esque add-on? Is this going to be a TSW7 core route?
That's interesting. That is an interesting. I hadn't thought of that because I only came into Train Sim World like full, not full. That sounds weird. As a proper serious like this game in Train Sim World 4. I toyed around with it on Games Pass on Train Sim World 3, so I wasn't really familiar with all of the background on the routes. But that's interesting,
Yeah.
and I suppose that could make sense. We know that it takes, thanks to ATS on their Manchester Airport commuter stream, we know that it can potentially take roughly 2 years to bring a route from whiteboard to market.
Yeah.
Um, give them, let's just generously give them about 12 months already for all of the scouting and all of the imagery and stuff, and then we'll give them 12 months to make the route. That would line up with a Train Sim World 7 US core release.
I hadn't thought of that, but
Um,
that's actually
it
another good point.
it also does give them 12 months as well to bring other US locomotives, livery packs. We'll get to that in a minute, and other gameplay packs that could potentially line up with this route or bolster this route as a core. Um, I hadn't thought of it, but you've piqued my interest now in this
Yeah.
being a potential Train Sim World 7 core route, and I think I may do a little bit of just casual looking into it because if it's going to be a core route, I'm going to have to play it. So I might as well do a bit of research.
Yeah. Another thing I was thinking was, it's it's the New Haven line, but the coverage will only go as far as Stamford, which is only like, I'm not too familiar with the line, but from what I've heard, it's like 2/3 of the way up the line. So we're
Okay.
not getting the entire New Haven line, unfortunately.
Could there, again, with all of the time frames that there could be potentially ticking away in the background, could we be looking at the announcement of that other section of the New Haven line, because 2/3 of a line is still a pretty decent chunk, enough for its own DLC.
Yeah.
Um, and I
I'm
mean,
thinking of the Harlem line here, which is in a similar situation, and I played that because that is actually a good route despite being cut off at North White Plains.
okay. Well, I was just going to point out that uh, I don't know if anyone else may have experienced this, but over the short period of time that we've had Train Sim World 6, there's been a few instances where I've found myself saying, even in the end of Train Sim World 5, why aren't Dovetail X, Y, Z? And then it's turned out that they've been cooking away in the background on it.
Yeah.
Insert thing here. And the reason I'm saying that is well, one of them was the when we had the announcement for the 170, my brain started ticking away on, this doesn't feel right. I knew, and then we got the Voyage. But anyway, we're avoiding going on to random tangents because it will throw me off topic. But I don't. Yeah, um, I think this one, we'll have to wait and see when the next roadmap comes. If the next roadmap comes along, which I think will be in next month. If we literally have nothing except the same slide and the same, what is that, one paragraph of text,
Yeah.
then I think it's pretty safe to assume that this one is going to be one of the last DLC of Train Sim World 6 or the core DLC of Train Sim World 7.
Yeah.
Um,
That would make a lot of sense, honestly. Yeah. And the Metro North M8, that's a pretty. I'm not too familiar with American Electric multiple units, but apparently this one was requested quite a bit. So yeah, I hope we do. I hope we get it reasonably soon. Next up, it's Cajon Pass, the GP60M/B add-on by High Iron Simulations. This is a new announcement. And
yes, but
go on.
this has seemed to become, sorry, I was just going to say, this is seeming to become a little bit of an interesting one.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I'm
I'll let
excited
you
for this one.
carry on because oh yes, no, I don't want to have anyone mistaken. I am going to be buying this one day one.
Yeah, me too.
I have become a fan of US Freight very much from playing the Cone Pass. In
Me
fact,
too.
from watching your stream, Maverick.
That was yeah.
So
That was the
it was such a
first time
fun
I
stream
ever
to
went over
watch.
Cajon Pass, ever, and I had the route for 2
And
years.
well, that's the first time I'd sat there and watched 2 hours of American Freight and not been bored to want to move away from the YouTube. So like, I thought, if it's just fun to watch, maybe I should play some. And then I did, and yeah, it got me hooked on American Freight. I am not ashamed to say. So I'm very excited about this. I'm
Yeah,
a little bit less excited about the delivery pack, but we will get to that at some point. I'm sure they mention it towards the end
they do.
of the
Yeah,
it's I am going to sound a little bit novice here because I'm not very familiar on US locomotives. I believe,
me
is
neither.
it the
Don't worry.
GP60B is the little slug one in the middle of
Yes,
the
and then the M has got the cabs on it. The
okay.
cab.
I wasn't exactly sure whether we were getting two locomotives. Again, I'm extremely novice when it comes to US locomotives, so thank you for clearing that up. But that's interesting. So that functions like a freight locomotive. It just doesn't have operator controls.
We correct, but we already had something similar in TSW. If anyone's ever had the Clinchfield Railroad add-on, which is set in West Virginia and Kentucky in the 1980s, 1970s, something like that. The F7, the Clinchfield F7 locomotive, the A
Oh,
variant
yes.
has a cab, and then the B doesn't have a cab. It's supposed to be sandwiched in between an
And
A1.
you have just reminded me as well that the Cajon Pass does in fact have its own F7 DLC.
Yeah,
Um,
which I don't have.
and I've just totally blanked out because I haven't driven a service in it. It's a little bit difficult to control, but I have mucked around in it while trying to get it to move, and I'd totally forgotten that it does have its own little power unit in between the locomotives.
Yeah. But this will
It's
be the high iron GP60. This will be the second time in Traits of World history that we have something like this, a cabless locomotive.
does look. I'm just looking at the pictures on the roadmap article, and I must say it does look really, really nice. The GP60M I'm referring to.
Yeah.
I
It does
don't know
look.
what you call that specific variant of cab, but the slanting on the sides of the cab nose.
Yeah.
Oh man, it looks so good.
Yeah. And it's another. And this is the first American freight locomotive since we got the BNSF ES44C4 in September 2022. So the American rail
I
fans are
think
going absolutely nuts over this.
is the F59, I think it was. Is that classed as a freight locomotive, or is that classed as a passenger locomotive?
I
The
think.
DLC for the Antelope Valley, I believe it was.
Yeah. I believe it can draw freight if necessary, but in Metrolink service it only ever draws passengers, so it technically
Okay,
is, but
okay.
also isn't. But I meant like a fully
Of course, yeah, no,
freight locomotive, yeah. Yeah.
no. As I was saying my comment, I kind of like immediately was like, "That's not what he meant, Melbourne train guy." But it was already too late.
It's fine.
I should just steer into the skid.
Yeah. So this is honestly, I was going to get the Santa Fe gameplay pack for Compass because I was like, ooh, I do like those Santa Fe liveries, and then High Iron shared this, the GP60, and I was like, no, I'm not getting the Santa Fe pack. I'll just wait and get the GP60 because this looks even better. And essentially, High Iron won a customer, but also lost a customer at the same time, which is pretty funny.
Take a penny, leave a penny. Take a penny, leave a penny. No, I joke, of course. I think they're also working on a route as well, if I'm not mistaken.
They are, but we haven't heard anything about it. I personally hope it's a remake of their Saluda Grade route from TS Classic, because that would give us more Norfolk Southern stock to play about with. That would be fun. I personally don't have.
I'm trying to think. No, I don't. And that's why I'm trying to think. There is of the name of the route that has the Norfolk Southern in it, and it's
Horseshoe Curve Altoona to Johnstown.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And the only reason I know that is because DC4260 made a review on it just like a few days ago.
I think that was the one. Yeah, no, and this is why I feel terrible sometimes, because I also remember commenting on his post of the pictures when he was saying review coming soon. I'm like, is this the Horseshoe Curve? And like, I only just did that a couple of days ago, and it's already slipped into my like forgotten memory. So I'm sorry, DC. I did watch the video. I promise.
I've actually been watching him since like his TSW 3 days. I remember when he did a review on the Class 700 back when that came out. So I've been watching him for like well over 2 years at this point.
If I'm being honest, I only started watching him around the time he changed his channel name from Train Spotter from Tauranga to DC 4260. And it's partly because I do agree with some of his opinions. Some of them I don't agree with, but then we're all entitled to our own opinions, and that's perfectly fine. But also part of it was just like, I don't know if this makes sense, but there's a lot of hate for DC because of his overly enthusiastic approach to making review videos. And part of me was like, I'm an Aussie, he's a Kiwi, like, no, I'm not having this. So I was like, I'm going to sub and I'm going to make sure I watch all of his content. Just, I don't know, some weird sense of supporting a local. It's weird, but I do enjoy his content, and I don't know why we got off topic there with DC. If anyone, oh, actually, I probably shouldn't because I don't know if he's continuing to make his content now.
He is. He just posted a Sandpatch grade review a few hours ago as we're taping this.
That is excellent. That is excellent. I know I saw, and again, I'm sorry to take us off topic, Mav. I saw he posted that he was, I think, taking a break and
Oh yeah. He
recommended
often
another
does
channel
that because
for.
he makes so much content sometimes that he just gets burned out. Poor guy.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can kind of understand that. I do see. I'm gonna pop that on 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
Probably to watch later. Watch.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
What astounded me
oftentimes get.
about Sandpatch grade what in his review was it actually had pretty good scenery even by today's standards. Like a lot of the small details were pretty good on Sandpatch grade. I'm not going to get it because I want to focus on high iron stuff with American Freight, but it still looks pretty good.
I I'm still making my way through the back catalog of Train Sim World DLC, and it's very difficult when we have all of the new DLC coming out, of course. But for a lot of the older content that I don't immediately have that, yep, I want to drive that kind of light bulb go off. I chuck it on the wish list, and ultimately when it comes on sale, I pick it up. So it's probably going to remain one of those I'll grab it when it comes on sale routes because at the minute, much like yourself, Maverick, the high iron stuff is looking really, really nice.
Yeah,
It also happens to be for the Cone Pass, which is a route that I do enjoy driving.
yeah. And while we've been nattering, I've pulled into Fulda and executed a pretty flawless stop despite chattering with you at the same time. So, um,
Well,
yeah,
that's no short feat. I mean, I would have probably blown that stop marker whole length of the train blown past it.
yeah.
But
Um, so yeah, GP60. So it looks as though we'll have a sorry, can't English, modeled engine room, which is a very rare thing for a TSW diesel. Um, it will have two different schemes: the BNSF H2 and H4 schemes, and the B will wear the H1 scheme, which I'm not too sure how that all works, but I'm just saying that for the benefit of the viewers. It will also come with an all-new model of BNSF's articulated spine into Motocon, which is quite good because the one we have in TSW is very outdated. It will have trailer and container loads, as well as an X Santa Fe GA Series ribbed side 3-bay covered hopper in BNSF colors, which, try saying that 5 times fast. My goodness. Um, do, do, do. It will have timetable services and scenarios on Cajon Pass, and will have bonus scenarios on San Bernardino.
ooh.
And then it will also be put into a war bonnet red and silver livery in a livery pack. Oh, at least they're saying it up
Yeah.
front. At least they're saying it up front and
I
not
mean,
leaving us hanging.
okay. So you do have to give credit, of course, for being completely upfront and saying right out of the gate, yeah, we didn't forget about it because I'm sure that the people would have been clamoring for that. I mean, the fans of American Freight, they know their liveries and they would have been clamoring. I am not a fan of livery packs because well, I mean, in essence, you're talking about a pardon me, sorry, I can't English either. You're talking about a creators club skin that has
Yeah.
been just made by an official quote unquote third party, rather than a community member.
Yep.
So, I mean, if they can include timetable content or something that makes it more than just a paint job, and I
To a certain
apologize for
extent.
being
Yeah.
harsh, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're talking about a livery pack, just a livery, there's nothing stopping people from going to the Creators Club and picking any number of very high quality liveries. There are some poor ones, but there are some really
Oh
talented
yeah.
people who make really exceptionally high detailed liveries.
Yeah.
So, of course, there is the caveat there that they do tank the performance of Train Sim World, whereas
Which
the
is why
official
I've got
ones
their
don't.
substitution turned off on my end.
Yeah, I just did a run on a route that was an absolute blurry mess, and I'm thinking it's not normally this way. Why? And I had custom Creators Club liveries all over the shop.
Oh
But
no.
I think at the end of the day, I would honestly myself prefer them to just include all of the liveries that they would want to include and charge a little bit more upfront. So rather than saying, okay, $20, I'm talking Australian money, sorry, for the
Yeah.
benefit of the viewers, rather than $20 and then $10 for the livery pack, charge us 25 bucks up front. You get all the liveries, everybody wins. I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, everybody wins.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think it's going to cause a lot of fuss. Some people are going to be very upset. The vast majority of Train Sim World consumers are going to be like, oh, that's annoying, and likely pick it up anyway. I'm just disappointed because it's a livery pack. I guess if more information comes out closer to its release, I'm talking about the overall 60 B and 60 M pack. If more information comes out about the livery pack, that makes it worth the money they're charging, or even if the value, because at this stage we know very little except that it's coming,
Yeah.
and it could come out at something ridiculously cheap, like £5. That's going to be like $10 Australian,
I don't think that's going
roughly.
to happen.
Um, no, but I'll just bring up the Train Sim World tagline again, Maverick. Expect the unexpected.
True.
But I will also say, Just Trains give them to us for free.
Yeah. And they don't even have
So, I
separate
mean, High
timetables
Iron.
either.
No, they just give us all of the stuff. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, we made like 7 brand new liveries for your train here. Have them for free. We love you. We
Yeah.
love you too, Just Trains. We truly do.
TSG
If you're
did the same
listening,
thing
High
with
Iron.
the 628
And
and with the
Train Sim.
Expert 101.
But I get it. I get it. Businesses need to make money. It will sell. And they were upfront right out of the gate saying, yep, it's going to be a livery pack. So there's no shenanigans going on. Everything's kind of on the table.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, it's annoying because it's another livery pack. But
Yeah.
I
It
guess
is what it is.
we'll just,
Sadly.
yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Um. So, yeah. The only livery pack that I am looking forward to is, and this will come as no surprise to anyone who's watched any of my British videos, the Great Western Express HST Farewell Pack by Grub Dog Games. Like, come on. Like, including a bunch of the retro HST liveries and a lot
No,
of the
but see,
modern ones. That's so cool.
this is where you do a livery pack, but you do it right.
Yeah.
You include not just one livery, but multiple, as well as single power cars with nothing on it. And this is something I feel like is kind of not really brought up a lot, is that debranded and base color trains are easier. I know they do give them to you in the livery designer, as what do you call it? The plain white.
Yeah.
But if I was making liveries, and I wanted to use GWE as a base, it would be so much easier just having a plain green one with the right color tone already to work from.
Yeah.
But that's a rant for another day. But also, the HST pack, I don't know why I'm defending it. It needs no defending. It looks amazing. It is amazing, but I feel like it's more than just a livery pack.
It
And
also includes the Mark
um,
One HST barrier coach thing, whatever it is, the purple one.
there is, yeah, the oh my days, it's slipping my mind now as well. But you are correct.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
and well, see, it's also going to include, if I'm not mistaken, I think the pack itself is coming with its own dedicated services on specific routes. I
yeah.
believe the GWE gets fixed services as well as the Riviera,
Yeah.
whereas this particular livery pack is, based on what we know now, just a livery. in the same vein as the heritage packs for the, oh my days, I think
Union
it's
Pacific on
the,
Sherman Hill and the
thank you.
Norfolk Southern on Horseshoe Curve. There are two different livery packs.
There you go. So that's kind of what I'm thinking in my mind when I see this livery as a livery pack. I'm thinking of that, where it's just genuinely a couple of variations of stickering and like no additional gameplay,
Yeah,
which is what it grinds my gears. When there's no additional gameplay, it annoys me.
yeah,
Sorry, but like that's just one of those things where like we have Creators Club.
yeah,
Come on now, guys.
yeah.
Sorry.
Next up, Santa Fe on Cajon Pass. We already knew about this. It's coming on November 13th and early November 14th. In places that are ahead of Europe. Um, it looks interesting. The only technically new stuff are a couple of new wagons, but other than that, basically nothing new. New timetable. Next up is the Avanti Class 805 Evero, I think that's how you pronounce it, from All Aboard Studios. This one I'm looking forward to. Because
Yes. Very, very much so. I'm looking forward to this one too.
another sorry, first decent IET question mark. So this will be for it will give us along with being just a repurposed 801 model, but also modified to fit Avanti standards. It will also have a new timetable for the West Coast Mainline South Euston to Milton Keynes route, which I'm coming around to. Like, I do like running on it now that it's gotten a lot of fixes, and it will also give a brand new modern day 24-hour timetable to Birmingham to Crewe.
This is an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
So we already knew that we were going to be getting a 2024, I believe it was, or perhaps 2025.
I
I
think it was
can't
5.
say. Okay, we'll go with 5 because that does make sense. For the West Coast Main Line, Euston to Milton Keynes. So we knew that was coming. They said something along the lines of 27 services, which was sounding a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very excited to hear that it's also getting a 25 timetable for Birmingham to Crewe because, well, admittedly, it's a route that still suffers from a little bit of issues in the way of textures going a bit sideways, but it is also a route that I personally enjoy driving.
Yeah.
And so the opportunity to drive an 80X on the Birmingham to Crewe is of great interest to me. I've kind of I've kind of fallen away from the Euston to Milton Keynes now that I've got the Birmingham to Crewe because it does give you, in my opinion, the better Pendolino run. And then of course it does have the Turbo Star layer, and we all know I love a Turbo Star.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to have. I'm hoping the Pendolino stays in the updated timetable, but it'll be nice to have a mixture of high-speed trains to run. I'm worried though, because as I alluded to with the textures still being a little bit sideways,
Yeah. That's what
I
I'm worried about too.
I'm of two minds. So additional gameplay for a pack is always a good thing. Wherever you can increase the value that the people who are paying money for the product get, that's always a net positive, but they
Apart
should
from layering
fix.
the GWR HST on a Scottish timetable, but we don't talk about that.
No, we don't talk about that. Especially because well, I'm confused on what's happening with the Intercity HST. But anyway, I kind of feel like they should at least get Birmingham to Crewe's standard timetable to a at least not blurry and I don't want this to sound like it does exactly, because it's not a blurry mess, please don't get me wrong. It's still it's still an enjoyable drive unless you want to drive a 350, in which case it is a blurry mess. So it would make sense to me to get the route, at least if you're driving the included rolling stock, to a level where it's not unplayable before you start go and adding additional timetables with ease. Um, but then I understand that's not specifically an all aboard issue. That's something that is plaguing Train Sim World at its core,
Yeah.
and there's only really so much all aboard can do before it's kind of like, well, they still need to function as a company and a studio and make products, and like I would rather have the product than not have the product, if that makes sense. I know a lot of people do like and I don't want this to sound mean, but there are a lot of people that like perfection in Train Sim World, and while I do like things to be good looking and nice and working, um I always rather have the thing than not. So when it comes to debranded or no product, give me debranded. When it comes to blurry from time to time or no product, give me blurry from time to time.
Yeah.
Um, because at least I can play it as long as it doesn't crash. It's still something I can play. I can enjoy. Um, Fingers crossed, toes crossed, salt over the shoulder. It's something Dovetail will eventually fix as well, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Um,
Pretty good. Yeah.
I'm still gonna day one this product though, cards on the table. I
Probably.
have
Yeah.
said
Me
that
too.
since it was announced. I've maintained that through not getting the Edinburgh to Newcastle. I was hoping that was going to be our Train Sim World 6 core, and I was sad, but this is definitely still going to be day one for me. I cannot wait. My excitement is preventing me from speaking. I can't wait. It is looking amazing, and I'm really just excited to see
Yeah.
2,171 services. Granted, only 510 of them are going to be drivable, but still, over 2,000 AI services, or rather services in the timetable. It's going to be very, very busy, which is what you want for a mainline. Um, Talking about the Birmingham to Crewe updated timetable. Sorry, just to make sure
Yeah.
there's no confusion, because there are two West Coast mainline timetables.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find what the train count is for the Euston to Milton Keynes, but I
If I
believe
remember
it's
correctly, and I
similar.
probably don't, it was something like something mind-boggling, like 2,000 playable services. Like, if they can pull something like that off, that'd be pretty amazing. Like that many
Well,
services.
it would be well, I'm going to put my cards on the table here. I would not be surprised to see a reduced timetable for consoles in the same vein as the Frankfurt S-Bahn.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
I'm worried about.
it it has been there's precedent for it. It would be disappointing,
Oh,
because they
100%.
have been hyping it up a great deal about how absolutely packed full of jam this timetable is. And boy howdy, 2,000 services, that's a lot. I can't find the number for the West Coast Mainline South, so I won't
I
quote a number
remember
because I
reading the
don't want
number
to be
somewhere.
mistaken.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, I'm almost positive if they've got over 2,000 total services on Birmingham to Crewe, it would be a similar number in the Euston to Milton Keynes, because I'm almost positive that the current timetable is missing quite a few services. I've heard so
Ye-
many people say something about
yeah,
missing services.
me too. So yeah, there'll be a lot of different surface patterns. Um, A number of special
Ooh,
workings will also appear, including Class
yes, I
47
was
rail tours and a recreation of the 2024 Class 323 farewell tour, each supported by unique empty stock activity.
I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah,
Not specifically the trains. Sorry to cut you off there, Maverick.
no problem.
I like the idea of rail tours and farewell tours, but also having the player have the ability to take it from the depot, set the train up through multiple services in the timetable, of course. But with return to timetable now, the player is able to actually do that complete service.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading that just as you got across it, and I saw the Class 47 tour, and I was like, ooh, we love a
Yeah.
Class 47.
I personally hope it's Class 47 Stroke 3 that we're getting with Crew to Preston, but that's upcoming. The full 24-hour period, across the full 20. Sorry, can't English. Across the full 24-hour time period, the timetable will contain 2,171 services in total for Birmingham to Crewe, with a total of 510 drivable. So yeah,
A lot of services.
that seems to be it for now. I've seen some people complaining that in this pack we also won't get the Avanti Class 807, which is also running for Avanti in real life. But I
don't understand enough about the subclass. Like, I
Yeah.
need to stop saying subclasses. They're different trains. I don't know enough about the different 80X variants to know the differences between them, so I won't remark on that. But what I will say is, I don't think we've had a gameplay pack before that has included two different forms of rolling stock. I believe it's always been the standard that you get one train with a timetable, maybe timetable and scenarios. In this case, we're getting two timetables and scenarios,
Yeah.
which is a lot of stuff. But I don't want to sound harsh, but I think it might be a little bit unreasonable to expect two brand new trains, in essence, in one gameplay pack for what's probably going to be, works out to be usually around 26 Australian dollars for a locomotive or an EMU DLC. So, if they're charging, £25 or £20, I think that's a little bit light to charge. Or rather, that's it's a little bit unreasonable to expect two completely brand new trains for that amount of money, when a lot of developers have said that the most difficult part of making anything for Train Sim World is the train, that the actual development of the model of the train, getting its physics right, its sounds, and all of that.
And I can see why they started off with changing a locomotive that we already had, because we already had the Class 801 and now the 802. So all they had to do was make a couple of major adjustments. So
I think it's worth pointing out that Alan Thompson also used an existing 323 for his first venture into Train Sim World, and people remarked at the time on that, and why didn't they include a new train, etc., etc. And it was pointed out that it's very sensible to use an existing train to build upon as your first venture into Train Sim World.
yeah.
Now
100%.
ATS has got the 90 coming, so this is the first Loco DLC from All Aboard. Their first route was using the 350. Now they're making this, which is a step above what they did with the 350 in taking an existing model. And who knows, we could get the 807 next as a dedicated DLC that they've made completely from scratch, taking the experience from the 805 and from the 350. It's still very early days for All Aboard. We're only 2 DLC in. And granted, their first DLC was a bit of a rocky launch with the Birmingham to Crewe. But to give credit where it's due, they were right out of the gate to make sure patches were made and ready to go. The only real delay in getting them out was the distribution of those patches through the various shenanigans of Steam and PlayStation and Microsoft, etc. So, I don't think we're getting it in this pack, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see an 807 on the roadmap.
At some point down the line.
At some point.
See what I did there?
Yes.
Some point down the line. I didn't
I
even
saw
mean
what
to
you
make
did
that
there.
joke.
No. You own your puns. Pun definitely intended.
Okay, so next up, it's the Transport for Wales Pacer gameplay pack from Just Trains. It's their first gameplay pack, and this one I'm actually pretty excited for. I do like the Cardiff City network. I think it's a nice route, and getting some Just Trains stock on there is going to be very fun. So it looks as though we will be getting a couple of. It's not just going to be skin changes; it's also going to be interior changes. So the cab is relatively similar to the Blackpool branches version, but it does include the addition of a GSMR and a TPWS and a sander. Then the cab interior also has completely new seats, new and bifold doors, LED headlights. The service pattern will be quite different in the timetable. So trains are not going to go from Quarrington to Penarth. Trains are going to go from Quarrington to Rhadir, which is going to be like a U-shaped service. And Penarth trains will go to Bargoed and Riffmini instead of Quarrington. And apologies for the Welsh pronunciation. And
It's much better than my Welsh pronunciation.
yeah, and then also we'll have Transport for Wales also had a couple of Class 37 diagrams with Mark IIFs running services up to Riffmini, which you will be able to drive from Cardiff to Heath High Level. Nice.
This is where my interest was piqued, because this was always a I wasn't going to get it day one because I'm not the world's biggest fan of the Class 142. So it wasn't super exciting, and then I saw some of the potential layers and thought, okay, this is potentially got some trains I like driving. But I'm looking at the picture now there with the 37/5, I believe, from the Tees Valley line?
That's what I was thinking.
I'm almost certain. That could mean, and again, this is one of those things where nothing means anything until it happens. Maybe we've got an update to the 37, thanks to Just Trains. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think that this is going to take a route which is already a really nice, enjoyable route. The Cardiff network it's one of those ones where it has just the right amount of service variation. It has just the right speeds and just the right distance between stations, where it's never too slow, too fast, or too stressful. Every time I've driven it, it's been just a pleasant drive. And now we're going to be able to do that potentially with 142s, but more than that is loco hauled stock. That interests me a great deal. And I believe there's also...
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think there's also, I'm just reading, there's going to be 170s. I'm already sold. But I don't know whether the 802s are drivable or whether those are going to be AI at one of the Cardiffs.
Yeah.
And I
believe Cross Country runs 170s out of Cardiff Central, and I don't think they'll be drivable, I'm afraid.
Oh, that is disappointing. Very, very disappointing, because I do love me a 170. But this 165, I'm assuming that's just a 166 that's dressed up slightly differently.
That piqued my interest, because we have a 166, and that's the 3-car variant, and that's included with Great Western Express, and the 165 is the 2-car variant, which is one that I have quite a bit of experience on. I've ridden on 165s quite a bit when I was in the UK. So, if we could get a 165, is that a part of the Great Western Express remaster that we just don't know about yet? And is this like a leak? This is one of those things. Does that mean that we are getting the Thames Valley branch lines going to Marlow, Greenford, Henley? See the path train of thought I'm going on? Another pun.
I I do indeed, and it's one of those things where there's been a few instances where this roadmap in particular has mentioned something that's piqued my interest, like the Class 805 and its remark about running when it's not running under the wires,
Uh,
which kind of yes,
that would
but
imply that we
the
might get the North
165.
Wales coastline. Because that's
Well,
where they don't run
this is
under
one
the
of those.
wires.
Well, it's one of those things where I don't know enough about the UK's rail network to be able to like fully nut it down. But I saw the 165 and I commented something on the forums about, is this a typo? Is this just going to be a 166 that's like, dressed up differently? Like, am I just an idiot? What am I missing? Um, and surprisingly, I got not a single reply or quote, whatever you call it when someone replies to your thing. So I'm confused, but I'm also thinking there has been a lot of delay in the GWE remaster. Essentially, a route that looks done. Every time Liam
Yeah.
blesses us with a preview picture, it's like, can we have it now, please? It looks so good. It looks done.
Yeah.
What more could you possibly be squeezing into this route that we have to wait?
Yeah.
Perhaps it's not what's being squeezed in, but perhaps it's what's been taken from the remaster for other content, which of course, um, you know, things need to line up in a certain order so that nothing gets accidentally leaked. And it's a very complicated thing. So, it could be that maybe they've modified the 166 from the GWE as part of the remaster.
Yeah.
It would put it in line, at least with the standards of what the other trains on the pack would be. The 142, of course, is already a Just Trains product, so we know it's got quality.
Yep.
It's on the current Todd standard. It's got quality light casting and like I don't know the proper words, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The 150 now has had the updates from the Riviera line. So it is also on the latest standard of Todd lighting, etc., etc. And once the remaster is done, the 166 will. So they could have taken out that middle carriage and just gone, but 165, here you go, Just Trains, you can have that.
Yeah.
Who knows? Um,
Yeah. That. Yeah. That's one
I
thing that.
I would
Yeah.
like to see
Precisely.
it.
Sorry. Go
Well,
on.
specifically, no, I was just going to say I would like to see it, and the thing that makes me more inclined to believe that we could see it is that they specifically mention HST castle sets, which are coming with the GWE remaster.
Yeah.
They don't say HSTs, they don't say class 43s, they're specifically saying castle set. Which
That's
is something
very
that they
interesting.
are. Yeah, so like the wording they're using, it could just be me going down my own little Alice rabbit hole and there's nothing to it at all. But it could very well be that, maybe they were trying to sneak in a little surprise 165. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? The 165, and this is the tangent. The 165 could be the watch the left hand while the right hand does something else, like the 170 and the 220 for cross country.
Yeah.
You mentioning, and I've already forgot the train line that you mentioned for the 165. I'm sorry, Matt. It's
Great Western Express.
it's not
Sorry,
Great
Thames
Western
Valley branch lines.
Thames Valley branch lines. There you go. It's not out of the question for them to release a product that's kind of new, but not really new, in anticipation and to get ready for the new thing to be right around the corner.
Yeah.
The 170 was not a new train, but cross-country licensing was. So the 165 wouldn't technically be a new train. It would be a remake of the 166, but the line coming could be the new thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. I love
Yeah.
going on my random tangent rabbit holes.
Yeah. That's fine. Uh. We've been chattering so long, my train's slowing down for its last stop at Würzburg, so...
Oh, we do only have, I believe, 2 DLCs left on this roadmap.
I don't know, but hang on. Why is my... Hang on, my AFB's having off. Nope. Hang on. I'm finagling my AFB. Oh, and now I've got
Don't,
Svans
don't.
Bremsen. Lovely.
I was just going to say, we don't want to take that out of context now, do we?
Yeah. Okay. Right, shush. Thank you. So yeah, the pacer looks decent. Some of the layers include the class 802 from Riviera Line, the class 150 from Riviera Line, the class 165 at HST Castles, which I've already mentioned. The cross country class 170 and then the cross country class 220. You'll have both the 150 and 153 will be getting ex Riva Trains Wales livery. Yeah, it looks pretty good, I must say. Then next up we have Crewe to Preston, West Coast Main Line by Just Trains. This is another British Railways classic. It will be set in 1986, like Blackpool branches and Preston Carlisle. So yeah, sounds pretty good.
This is going to be a real this is going to test the limits of what the consoles can handle, I feel. And I say that genuinely, I don't say that sarcastically. Because I'm looking at some of these work in progress picture shots here. And even the class 47, the weathering on that locomotive. Oh my days,
Yeah.
it looks. Oh my days. I'm not the first one to say it, but that is what a train should look like.
Yeah.
It just looks so good, even inside the cab.
Oh yeah.
Like it's
The
got
the cab interior
grime and
actually reminds
gruds and
me of
oil.
the West Somerset
Oh,
one. Yeah.
it does a little bit, yeah, with the orange safety piping off towards the sunflower there, just above the slow speed control, which is an interesting point to mention, the slow speed control.
It is a
Um,
new addition to the 47.
I It is, but I was under the impression that we would only be using the class 20s for those merry-go-round coal services, but I was under the impression we would be taking the wagons to and from, but the inclusion of a modeled slow-speed control leads me to think we could actually have coal loading gameplay on this route.
I really hope we
Not
do.
included Not included as a gameplay pack later, Skyhook, I love you, but come on, guys. But, like, included with the route.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be
Oh.
awesome. Um.
But just looking at the quality of these pictures, the
Oh,
fog, the smoke coming
chef's
off of the
kiss,
smokestacks.
man.
Oh, my days. I think that's Fiddler's Ferry Power Station, the
Yeah.
cooling towers there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um.
this is
Also,
going to
point
be
out we
amazing.
are getting a new branch line as well. The Deepdale branch north of Preston. Apparently, we are getting.
I just saw that. Nice.
Yeah.
This
Just
route will
arrived at
explore a
Würzburg.
busy section
Lovely.
in northwest England set in the 1980s, including the historic railway town of Crewe, as well as a multitude of branches, which will allow you to explore a number of lesser-known areas, such as the Deepdale branch north
Yeah.
of Press. So there's going to be a few little branch lines off the line, it seems, which is interesting for service variability.
Yeah.
Variety. We'll go with that because I don't know the first one was an actual word.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the 86 stroke 4 is what I am looking forward to the most. I am a fan of the 86, where once I was not, it has grown on me, and I now love that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even drive the 47 anymore on the cargo line packs. I still haven't done all of the cargo line military services because I'm too busy driving the 86, to be fair.
Yeah.
But Crew looks crew looks amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the I'm worried that this is going to be through no fault of Just Trains. I'm worried that this is going to be a blurry mess on the 9th gen consoles, and
Mm,
I want this to be great because I'm going to get this day one.
yeah.
I haven't gotten any other Just Trains product day one. I do have the BPB and the West Coast Mainline, but I bought them at a later date. But this one, I want to get it day one. It looks so good, and it's
Yeah.
a train for the first time. It's a BR era train that I know I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know that this this amount of detail and quality is going to translate through with the issues that we're having in Train Sim World Core at the minute on consoles, especially on consoles who don't have the ability to just brute force it with more RAM.
Yeah.
Um, PC players, of course, can just brute force the issue by just adding in more memory. And I don't want to have to resort to turning off layers or turning down the quality to HD because at the end of the day, the layers are used like they're sold to us as a look at all this extra benefit you get on the route from having all of these layers. So why would you then turn them off? And
Yeah.
this one sounds a little bit first world problem, but I have a PS5 and I'm buying a Just Trains route. Why would I want to turn the graphics to PS4
Yeah.
quality
Why?
graphics?
Why
If
would
I've
you?
if I've paid money, no,
Hmm.
well, I've paid money for like to be able to have better quality. I don't want to have to like if I wanted the PS4 quality, I would have stayed on the PS4 just to be blunt.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get it day one. I worry. Um, I'm sure you'll probably end up getting this day one, Math, because
Yeah.
it's
Because I
Just
love Just
Trains. It's
Trains.
the
It's just
86,
trains. Yeah.
and I
Um.
think it's coming with two. I don't know if you call them new variants or if it's just the one that has two subclass variants, but it is coming with a class 20. I believe the Stroke Zero.
Yeah, I believe that is the version that we already had in the game, but it's like an updated and
Okay.
improved version with a new livery. So an updated and improved 20, new variant of the class 47, the stroke 3, new variant of the class 86, which is a stroke 4. But unusually for Just Trains route, this will be the first Just Trains route that doesn't include any new rolling stock for the game. The Blackpool branches had the Pacer, and then Preston to Carlisle um, had the
87.
87. Thank you. Yeah.
I wasn't I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to bring it up myself because again, I don't know the differences between all the subclasses, but is there not a great deal of difference between the stroke 4 and the stroke 3 uh or for 86 stroke 2 and stroke 4? Is there just not a lot of difference there or
I'm not sure. I don't think there is a lot of difference, but I wouldn't know. Um.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's not as damning when it comes to a route such as the Crew to Preston because it's a large route. We know it's going to be a very highly detailed route.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like Just Trains have already established a record of providing enough quality and enough gameplay
Hmm.
with and I hate using this word, but it's the only one I can think of, recycled stock. That I don't think I'm gonna worry. Like I'm not gonna be sat there looking at the PlayStation store at the price that's eventually gonna be 60 or 65 Australian dollars, and I'm gonna be more worried about how soon can I play this because it's going to be amazing rather than, oh, really? Another 47? Oh,
Yeah.
like if it was a recycled 66, that would be different because it's been recycled to oblivion.
Yeah.
But then we also need to remember that it's not a case of someone like Rivet Games or Skyhook recycling a train. It's Just Trains.
Yeah.
So they're taking the 20, but they're updating it, which means we're getting, Just Trains quality updates. They're going to actually look good. The lighting's going to be good. The sounds are going to be good, hopefully. Same too for the 86 and the 47 stroke 3.
Yeah.
It's not like a case of Athena taking the 47, painting it green and selling it to us as a
Gameplay pack.
scenario pack.
Yeah.
Just Trains are actually putting in work where you look at it and you go, rather than thinking, oh, it's just a reskin, you can see, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
my words, but I guess what I'm trying to say is you can see that they've done enough and put enough value into it that it's not a case of painting it a different color and saying, that's $20, thank you. Um, Clearly, I mean, we've got slow speed, so clearly they've gotten into the model of the train and they've done some work.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely. I
it,
I'm
it is
looking forward to it.
disappointing though. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but it is a little disappointing that we didn't get even some wagons. Some new wagons, I suspect, would have been better than nothing new at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Um Next up it's Cargo Line Volume 5 Nuclear.
Yes.
The
The worst secret in Train Sim World history. They didn't keep this one secret very well at all.
hmm.
I think
uh
this was a leak.
it was a leak
Sorry.
via the layers tool, wasn't it?
I'm just trying to recall, but yeah, no, I think it was on. Oh my days! I think it was on the Athena preview stream as well.
Yeah.
Because it was the East. No, no, no. Yeah, it was. It was too. Anyway, we are talking about the Cargo Line Volume 5, and I am very excited for this.
Yeah.
Not just because it's a gameplay pack from Skyhook, but because it's a modern Class 20.
Yeah. Like we've needed one of them for a while. It will have
Yes.
FNAD nuclear flask carrier wagons and also will have the class 20 stroke 3 in unbranded, but we know it's direct rail services Oxford Blue. Um, it will have it will have a number of notable improvements, including long-range fuel tanks, group standard headlight clusters, high-impact windscreens, and a complete cab rebuild compared with the Class 20s that we already have. Um, uh, do, Progress is coming
I'm
along very
liking
well, it seems.
I'm liking the look of the Class 20s.
Yeah, it does look very good. And also, in the last screenshot, there's also a panic button under the GSMR unit. That's what Homer Simpson would need
Okay,
to press.
now, is this a panic button? Because I think Train Simulator Driver pointed this out. Is it the emergency brake, or is it the panic button because someone's coming to steal your nuclear stuff? That is what I want to find out. Inquiring minds must know. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be smacking that thing as soon as I get the pack because I just
Yeah.
want to know, is it just a creative label for the emergency button? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do like that it's a modern Class 20 and it will be more at home.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get Chalky to do scenarios with the Class 20, but the BR one just looks out of place.
Yeah.
I am a little bit sad it's not a licensed DRS livery,
Especially since
but
we already
again,
have DRS stuff in the game.
no, but see, I believe it was already asked, and I can't recall the staff member from Skyhook who responded, but the DRS licensing is specifically for that Class 66. It's not like an
Oh.
all-encompassing. Yeah, so it's not like something that they can just, well, we've got a DRS license. It was specific for that
Which
66.
is a
So it
major
makes sense.
shame,
Is
really.
a shame, and it's honestly something they should look into when they get licensing is rather than it being restrictive, have more open, uh, or rather have the ability to include potentially new locos down the track in an existing
I see what you
license.
did there down the track.
Um, Yeah, I tried one of those myself. But like I said, I'm happy to have it, even if it's unbranded, rather than not having it at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to jump onto the Creators Club hours after it's launched and get myself a DRS. In fact, I think there already are DRS liveries for the existing 20.
Yeah.
Um, it'll be interesting to see what they do with gameplay in the pack because essentially it is looking like, for lack of a better word, A to D crate runs.
Yeah.
Um, I think a lot of the interesting stuff here is going to be in the scenarios. Skyhook are pretty good at their scenarios. I don't really know that there's a lot, at least for me, I don't really know that there's a lot to say about it. It's a class 20, which we already do know. We know roughly how it's going to perform. We know roughly what it sounds like, what it does. I do like the looks of those FNAD nuclear
Yeah.
flask wagons,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but I hope that one of the scenarios is that cheeky little crash test with a Class 37. If they don't include that, it might have been a 35. I think it was a 37.
Yeah.
Might have been a 40.
I
I've
I
seen a
hope one of
video.
the scenarios involves us hitting the panic button.
Oh, that would be interesting too.
Yeah.
Do we get like all of our signals turn red and we have to stop and wait for the see it say it sorted to arrive? The police, of
Yeah.
course, I'm referring to.
Yeah. The biohazard
Although
team.
whenever
Or
I see panic button and my brain immediately just for some reason goes to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and I'm like, don't panic, don't press the button.
yeah.
I'm probably every time I see that I'm probably going to make some remark about not forgetting my towel and I'm hoping people will get the reference
Yeah.
because
I
it's
get
sad
I get
if
the
they
reference at
don't.
least. Yeah. I read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy
Hitchhikers,
books. Yeah.
uh, I just have to point out because it's funny and I love it every time I remember it, but the book, the movie, and the radio broadcast of The Hitchhiker's Guide, um, they're different, and the reason that they're different is because of the improbability drive. Like every time something changes, like everything changes, and
I've
that's
only
why
ever read the
like
books.
it's the
Yeah.
oh I am such a fan of The Hitchhiker. I like the movie. Here I'm getting off topic. I like the movie because I think it was just one of those things where I was just at the right age. It was just the right kind of like time in life where it was just how do Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
I was really big into Alan Rickman, so I'm trying to think. I think it was Galaxy Quest was another one he did where it wasn't even a serious movie. He was just playing like a totally unserious character,
Yeah.
but it was hilarious. It's Panic Button.
Yeah. So I'm as far as so viewers, as far as we know, we don't have any official confirmed information as to where the new. Well, we have one bit of official confirmed information as to where Cargo Line Volume 5 20s will layer. However, from looking at the layer list, it appears it will layer on Preston Carlisle, um, Midland Main Line, West Coast Main Line South, and the Riviera Line,
The
which is all a
interesting
decent
thing
batch
about
of routes.
I do need to point out though that the Riviera Line layer is actually earmarked as the DRS Class 66, not the Class 20.
Right, you're right. Because
I don't know. So what I mean to say is the gameplay from this pack will layer on, but it's looking like it's going to be the 66 hauling the FNADs, not the 20. Which
uh,
I like because it's going to be a licensed DRS train pulling the
yeah.
flasks. But I just thought it would be interesting to point that out because you will also, in that case, need to own the ScotRail Express Edinburgh to Glasgow pack to
And
unlock
Engineering
this layer because
Express.
it does. Yes, yes. So you will need to own two DLCs in addition to
Um,
the Cargo Line Volume 5 pack.
and I beg to add, we because there will also be Mark II Fs in that formation, we will also have to own the Class 86. So that will be a total of four
Oh yes,
DLCs for a few surfaces.
yes, and what's likely going to be perhaps 4 or 5 services.
Wow.
At, Yeah, so that's not looking like an ideal layer for the Riviera line. But if we're being honest, there's only going to be a small amount of players who don't own all of those layers.
Yeah,
Most people will, and that sounds very, very inconsiderate of me because once upon a time I did have like two routes, and I was like, how do these people have all of these routes? My goodness, they're so expensive. But
yeah.
this is
I know
this
exactly
this
what
is
you mean.
actually a this is a purposeful segue into the fact that it's a little bit difficult if you are on Xbox, folks, but if you are on PC or if you are on PlayStation, one thing that I always recommend, and even if you are on Xbox, one thing I always recommend is all of Train Sim World content into your wish list. That way, the minute one of the things comes on sale, you get notified. Um,
Yep.
Shop the sales, even if it's not a route that you think you're going to drive a lot or even immediately. One thing that worked for me was a lot of the routes I bought as layers for other routes, and then from playing them on other routes, I got into them. But it's more than anything, it's a way to build your collection, and
Yeah.
you really never know what might come out in the future that you do want that might require a layer, and it stings a lot less when you picked it up for $3 on sale rather than $50 at full price.
Yeah.
So,
Precisely.
um, but sorry, one last thing. Sorry, Maverick.
Yeah. No problems.
If you are on Xbox, you can search up previous editions of Train Sim World content. Uh, there are occasions when Train Sim World 3, 4, and potentially now 5 DLCs are on sale, but Train Sim World 6 DLCs are not. And you can, of course, carry all DLC from previous games forward.
Yeah. Um.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'm a
Yeah. No.
cheapskate, so if I know where there's a bargain, I always like to point
Yeah.
it out.
I for the Cargo Line Volume 5 layers on the Riviera line, I actually have all those DLCs apart from the Riviera line itself because I'm just waiting to pick Riviera up on it when it goes on sale again. Yeah, like um right. So next up it is the Alan Thompson Sim Class 90. I'm not going to be getting this because they're I know these allegations are unsubstantiated, but there are serious ethical concerns with Alan Thompson as a person and also as a business. I refer you to Maverick Hunter Daniels' video on the Alan Thompson Class 745 flirt, and yeah, that's if you watch that, you will know what I mean. Yeah,
I don't I don't know, or rather I should say, I'm not across any of the happenings.
yeah,
I'm not going to be getting it. I was going to be getting it, but I have since changed my mind. Um, I just don't really see anything that makes me go, wow, really? I mean,
yeah,
it's just another 66, but it's not a 66, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
The included liveries, I know it's still work in progress, but the included liveries aren't really anything special. I mean, they're not even EWS or BR branded. They're just flat colors.
yep,
Um, it honestly to me looks like there's not really been a lot of effort put in. And I know I've said that there's a train that's modeled there. Clearly effort has been put in to get the simulgraph and all of that stuff done for the modeling on the train.
yep.
But we're not getting new rolling stock, which okay, we wagons, I mean, but it
You cut out.
it just it
Can you repeat what
oh,
you
did I
just said?
cut
You cut
out?
out. Yeah,
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. It looks a little bit lackluster, I think
yeah,
that's the correct term. It's a bit of a letdown. Maybe we'll get some more information um closer to its release date, and maybe some of the layers elsewhere will make me change my mind.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, I'm just looking at the pictures now. We get 5 different variants. We get a blue, green, red, what looks to be a British rail freight grey.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
And then I'm not sure what the green, yellow, and white
I
one
think
is.
that's
I think
intended to
that's a
be an
deeper and
old Freightliner livery, if I'm not mistaken.
okay. Um, I don't mean to sound negative, but it's just not it, Chief. Like these five liveries, it looks like they've just used the tooltip color selector thing in Microsoft Paint to just go, oh, I'll have that color. Oh no, actually, what about that color?
Yeah, precisely.
Um, they could have at least put the BR Rail Freight logos, the sector logoing on the 90. That's not even a licensing thing. They could just do it. I'm sure BR's not covered by any of that. Like it wouldn't make sense, I'm sure. And I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but like it really looks like no like thought, like not even EWS.
Yeah,
I know EWS had these. I'm sure I've seen EWS branded 90s.
yeah,
Um,
and yet
and I
nothing.
know I just said as well that just because there is a license, it doesn't mean that you have an all-inclusive license. But given how many times they've used the 66 and EWS, I'm sure it wouldn't be difficult to get permission to put it onto a 90.
Yeah,
Um,
it just seems like a yeah. You're. It just yeah. It seems like massive amount of nothing has gone into this pack. However, I did notice something interesting. The ATS are not doing this alone. They're also doing it in collaboration with And Games, who are a Turkish development group. They've worked with Alan Thompson before
okay.
on the Class 745 and 755. And Games, Melbourne, you might remember as the guys who made the Taurus Mountains route in TS Classic, which is the only Turkish route in the game. That's the one with the UFO, if you remember that video.
UFO.
Yes,
Yes.
they're the ones who made that route, and they've released renders of a Turkish DE 33,000 locomotive in Unreal Engine 5. So I'm wondering, are And Games
Oh.
gearing up for a Turkish route in TSW? And if so, that would be epic.
Oh, that's interesting. And maybe they're using this collaboration with ATS as a bit of a dip your toes in the pool.
Yeah,
Like, is this what we kind of interesting?
that's what I was
Okay.
thinking.
Well, if that turns out to be the case, I would be excited for that because
I've had people
I
comment on
mean,
my videos asking if they're making stuff for TSW on my Taurus Mountains videos.
okay.
So
That's interesting.
I really hope they do, because if so, that would be awesome. Adding a new and totally unexpected country into the franchise.
Well, again, I will just mention Train Sim World 6's tagline of expect
Expect
the
the
unexpected.
unexpected,
We
yeah.
have we have also gotten, please do correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was three new countries announced in Train Sim World 6.
Japan, the Czech
It might
Republic,
be
and Portugal. Yeah.
okay. So it was three, although you could technically argue Japan was already announced. Although
Yeah.
um I still consider it new because until we have the thing's not out. And
Yeah.
I don't think it would be out of the question, given how global Train Sim World seems to be getting now, truly making a move towards the actual world part of its name.
Yeah.
Um, and Turkey doesn't seem too far out of the question considering, and I do have to be careful because I have forgotten which parts of the world. I think it was Setúbal and
It was Lisbon,
what's the other one?
Setúbal for Portugal, Liberec to
Portugal.
Starapaka for the Czech Republic, and Aizu Wakamatsu to Tadami for Japan.
Okay, I hope I'm not putting my foot in my mouth here, but in my mind, I'm looking at a map and I think Portugal's somewhere in
It's to the west of
close enough
Spain.
proximity. I'm going to stop with the geography because it's not my strongest suit, but I would like to see it.
Yeah.
Um, it's always good
It would be
to
our
not
first
do a
broad
standard three,
gauge route, because it's Iberian
but
broad
also
gauge rather than standard gauge, which would be pretty cool.
but it's also a don't they use mostly loco haul trains over in that part of the world?
Uh,
I'm just trying to think because
I'm
I
not
do
too
get
sure.
other countries' train stuff from time to time on my YouTube,
Yeah,
but I don't know if they have well, I suppose it would depend on what part of the country the line was done in,
yeah.
because I imagine most inner cities
We
would
do
have
know what train we are
anyway.
getting, though. It's the Series 3500, and it's a double-decker electric multiple unit.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I think we've digressed a bit. We should continue. The
We
video
have,
is already over an hour and a half, but anyway. Next up,
oh my gosh,
it's
I am sorry.
no, it's no problem. We're having a right old natter, and I'm enjoying it. Next up, it's Incredible Trains, or Johannes Hartmann, with an update on the Richmond extension for the Mild May line, or North London line, or whatever you want to call it. It looks pretty. It looks pretty good. He's also going to bring the route up to current TSW6 standards, adding announcements, train faults, and temporary speed restrictions. And he's waiting to confirm the option to use real announcements, like real life
I'm gonna make a
announcements.
hot take. I'm gonna go with a very hot take on this one and
Yeah.
say that I think uh, waiting to see if they can use real announcements, whether they're actual AI, but in the style of the overground or the actual overground ones, I think that's the wrong way to go. Um, I'm trying to be very, very friendly here because I do enjoy the mild May, and I do get that Johannes is a solo dev. So I
Yeah.
don't want to be throwing shade where it's unnecessarily due, but the mild May is already not the best performing of routes. It's a little bit hitchy and stuttery in places. And I think that adding Train Sim World 6 features like train announcements and things like that could potentially make it perform worse. Um,
Yeah.
it's difficult to say because I don't truly understand what does affect memory and what doesn't. I used to think track shadows affected memory, for example, but I've since been told by DTG Matt, no, they don't. I asked a question in the in the roadmap stream about track shadows and was told that removing track shadows wouldn't make a noticeable benefit to memory usage, which, unless I'm mistaken, means track shadows don't really affect memory. That was how I took away that state, like what I got. But anyway, I just want the route to work smoothly so that it doesn't turn into a slideshow. Um,
Yeah.
I would like to also have the cool Train Sim World 6 features because the Mild May is not that old a route anyway. It's still new enough that it should be updated just as part of the course. It should be updated to the current standard set.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean the class 378, I'm pretty sure it's the 378 on the Mild May line. I'm just navigating
Yeah.
to check now. It is. Class 378 gangway is still like broken, where you can walk halfway through it and poke your head outside the train.
Oh no.
Not, not to be like that guy, but can we not fix that first and then maybe have announcements afterwards?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
feel
what I
I
was
feel
thinking too.
bad because it's just Johannes. I feel so bad, but like I think I feel genuinely, I feel like the effort's being put in the wrong place here, and that
Yeah.
rather than adding these cool new features, we should fix what's not working great now and then add the new features after.
Yeah. That. Yeah. Precisely. Like the mile main line is, from what I've heard, I don't have it myself. It seems like a decent line, but yeah, it definitely needs those fixes. I I've also noticed that the Class 378 dynamic suspension looks far too bouncy from what I would expect from a electric multiple unit of that kind. I've ridden on it, a close relative of it. I've ridden on the Class 387 from GWR, and it does not bounce to that extent. that the one on
No,
the Wildman does.
it's also, I think it's not the suspension, or it could be the suspension, but it also, when you brake and accelerate, the whatever they call it that makes the camera go forward and back to replicate like the force of gravity,
Yeah.
that's way overpowered. Like you go into notch two, of braking and it feels like you're gonna get thrown through the windscreen. Like it's a hard camera pull.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah.
Poor
And
Johannes.
I have, I know, and this is what I mean. Like, I feel terrible
Poor
because
guy. Like,
it's a
he builds
great
a.
drive.
Yeah.
Truly, it's a truly great drive, and I still recommend it to people as like a route to buy because the 378 is a great train to drive. The route, even though it's a little bit slideshowy in places, it's still a very well detailed route. Johannes, sorry, was also responsible for some of the modeling on the Birmingham to Crewe.
Oh.
Um, yes, and I have now forgotten exactly which parts, but there was a bit of the trackside scenery between, I think it was Birmingham New Street and another part where I was trying to see if I can find the article without going too far off course. I will look that up and I'll message it to you in Discord because I think you'd be interested
Yeah. I think I would. Yeah. Yeah.
to know. Sorry, I don't know why I had a little bit of a brain fart there.
Next up, we've got a new TSW partner, Firefly Simulations. And these
This
guys are
is the
already.
best news of the roadmap.
This. Yeah. These guys are already. Sorry, that ice train is being very loud. Shush. There we go. Trying to remember now. Firefly Simulations. All of these guys have previously been involved in making TSW mods, and some of them have actually worked with on TSW before. So on TSW itself before. So, um, just adjusting something real quick. There we go. So we've got Fox, Bescott, Charlie, Jetwash, and Spratty. All 5 of those guys have previously been involved in making some of the best train sim world mods I've ever played. They were the guys behind the 2025 West Coast Mainline South timetable mod, for instance. They also added a bunch of London Overground and Underground services onto the default timetable of West Coast Mainline South. Spratty was the guy who made the Class 66
Class 66 mega pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
I don't know what to say about this other than this is just, in my opinion, the best part of the roadmap announcements was that the announcement of Firefly Simulations. For the first time, we could be looking at some of the PC enhancements and timetables coming to the console.
Like, that's just
I-
the best news I've had in a long time.
That is, what, yeah, it's genuinely the best news any console player could hope for because the even the simple ones like the signal enhancement mods, the ones that make red signals not look yellow.
Yeah.
For example, of course we've got Spratty with the Class 66 Mega Pack. Oh my goodness, that was the best thing that I had ever seen up until that point. Like,
I don't have it installed, but I did play it a bit back in the TSW5 era, and it blew my mind as to how good it actually
I
was.
was so jealous that I had to watch people like yourself and Train Simulator Driver and Chocky have this amazing Class 66 enhancement pack with all of these awesome, genuinely different variants. And I'm sitting here with my PlayStation going, can't I have that? That's sad. But now, like genuinely, when you say like expect the unexpected, who knows, the sky's the limit, insert buzzword here. Genuinely, in this case,
That
who
is fully
knows, the sky
warranted.
is the limit.
Yeah.
like it's fully warranted because these are some of the most loved and well-known
Yeah.
PC modding community members.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
and I
amazing.
mean, genuinely so. And I think it's really, really, really awesome that finally, and I don't mean this to sound like I'm being negative against Dovetail or the PC modding community, but it's finally awesome that the two have been able to come together in the
Yeah.
form of forming a third-party developer team and then Dovetail and like working together. Um, there's nothing that can come out of this except positives.
Yeah. Like, these guys do not
I
skimp on the quality or the quantity.
No, and the fact that there is already an existing catalog that console players can look at and go
We want
like,
that.
yeah, well, not only we want that, but if you're curious on the quality of something that's coming to Train Sim World, oftentimes it's very difficult to look and see, well, what have you done previously? Um,
Yeah.
it's usually because it's usually a mixture of like Rivet and Dovetail or Skyhook and XYZ. It's usually multiple people working together. The
Yeah.
PC, like each of these people have under their own collar exceptional work.
Yep.
All together, like I don't think I can come up with enough like words to
Yeah.
describe just how excited I am for the fact that okay, I have said ever since the announcement of the 171377 pack, we might be getting a refresh. And I specifically did point out not a remaster, a refresh. And now we have a group of people who are quite known for refreshing routes with
I
enhancement
had
packs
not
and
even thought of
timetable
that.
packs. Yeah. And it's Rivet Games, who we know don't mind working with other companies. Like, this is so good.
Yeah. It's the for
Sorry,
me.
but like, the excitement.
For me, this is the equivalent of going to Las Vegas, checking into your hotel, dropping off your baggage, going to the casino, and instantly winning $1 million of blackjack. That's the equivalent
It's
of
just,
these guys coming to TSW.
and for the first time, PC and console players are going to be able to experience. Oh,
This is this is going to be good.
this is so good.
Oh yeah.
Yes, no, hard agree. And I genuinely think that whatever these guys manage to bring to market, whether that's in the form of their own products or whether that's in the form of working with other third-party developers. So like they could end up making their own content. They could end up contracting with Skyhook, with Ribbit to enhance the quality of upcoming other third-party content. So even if we don't see something directly from Firefly, now that there's a third party out there that oh the possibilities the
Are endless.
possibilities because no, well, I mean, you've got routes that will never get a remaster in a million years,
Yeah.
like the Tees Valley, like the Edinburgh to Glasgow, which will now potentially be able to get love because,
Yeah.
well, it's not a remaster, it's a refresh. We're just gonna do a little bit of magic here with the signals, a little bit of magic there with the timetable to squeeze a few more things in. Like nobody is everybody wins. Genuinely, everybody wins. And
Yeah.
that's the perfect situation.
Yeah. And this is going to be very, very, very good. Like, in my wildest dreams, like, I never imagined something like this. And like
Oh,
now that we've got it, I'm
I
so
think
excited.
there are things now that seem to be not sliding into place, but there's things now which kind of made me go, which now seem more likely. So, Grub Dogs, Liam mentioned that the GWE remaster, oh, sorry, the GWE remaster is going to be the last remaster that he works on. And I can't remember if he said it was his team or just in general the next project. So, I mean, I have the feeling that Firefly have already been in the background with Dovetail, potentially Rivet, potentially Skyhook. I don't want to get my hopes up too much because that's never a good thing, but I don't feel like they're freshly signed on as a partner. Let's announce them. I think they've already been in the background. They've already been dipping their fingers into mini mini pies, as the saying goes. And I think that we could potentially be seeing some Firefly. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? We may already be set to see their hand in some DLCs upcoming.
Yeah,
Um,
I
I'm
definitely think that.
I'm I'm very suspicious on this 171377 pack because Dovetail specifically mentioned Rivet Games were looking into ways to update the
Yeah,
East Coast way.
it. Yeah, I think
And
they've definitely
nothing
been
screams
sneaking
update.
around.
Nothing screams up. And well, ultimately, the thing that sold it for me was I don't think even Rivet would sell a modern Todd 4 lighted loco pack for a Todd 1 or 2 lighted route. I don't even think they would do that. So there was going to need to be some kind of update. And we all know that ECW was never getting a remaster.
Yeah,
This, however,
yeah,
I would I would pay all of I mean I would pay whatever they asked. If they said it was going to be $30 Australian for the 171, I'd be like, Firefly have touched the ECW. Take my money.
it's the
Take
Futurama
all of
meme
it.
of "Take my money." Yeah,
Shut up
yeah,
and take my money. Like
yeah,
legitimately
yeah,
so.
yeah,
Um and
yeah,
that's why I think, yeah, genuinely it was the best news to come out of the roadmap. Everything else we kind of already knew or it was a little bit meh. This, however,
yeah,
this is the headline.
yeah, precisely. We do have some more add-ons that aren't getting any updates in this roadmap. However, they are still being worked on in the background. These add-ons are Liberec to Starapaka from Vector Simulations, which is the Czech route, Lisbon to Setúbal from Virtua Via 360, which is the Portuguese route, Tadami Line from Union Workshop, which is the Japanese route. It's the one I'm most looking forward to. The Class 171 and 377-3 pack from Rivet Games, the Expert BR145 from TSG, the BR420 from TSG, the HST Farewell Tour from Grump Dog Games, and the GWE remaster from Grump Dog Games. So that's like that's the three updates or add-ons that I'm most looking forward to that we didn't get any updates on in this roadmap. We didn't get any updates on Tadami or the Farewell Tour or the GWE remaster, which is a shame, really.
Um no, we didn't. I will just point out though that I did notice that the tatami line was moved from the 0 to 3 month section to the down the track section.
Wait, was it? I didn't
Um,
even notice. Hang on, I'm looking.
indeed it was. So I don't know if that uh means anything. But last month it was in the arriving soon category, and now it is in the further down the line
I
category.
don't think it was
So
ever
that
in the arriving soon category, though.
was it
So,
not? I
I
could
don't
have
think it was.
sworn. I withdraw my statement then. I have just mistaken myself. I'm just going to quickly have a look because
Yeah,
I could have
there is.
sworn it was
It wasn't.
October
I don't
roadmap.
think.
It wasn't. No, that's October roadmap. There it is. Let's have a look. I don't want the TLDR. Go away. Just give me the graphic. No, you are correct. It is in the further down the line there also.
Okay. We also do. We also do have a new upcoming core update, TSW6 core update number 4, which is the week of November 10th. It's currently being tested and aimed to contain further core improvements from feedback following TSW6's release, and a wider range of improvements for Birmingham to Crew. Epic Games the Epic Games Store now has all compatible content on. So now you can transfer all your content from TSW 5 or previous over to the TSW 6 store if you're on Epic Games. Uh, do, 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 do. Players on PlayStation have not been able to transfer Peninsula Corridor to TSW 6 or TSW 5. TSW DTG has been in contact with PlayStation and have been able to implement a special case workaround to give all the access needed. As of right now, that is live. New mastery challenges. Yeah.
I was just going to say on the Peninsula Corridor, I am a PlayStation player, so I feel like I should just pipe in here. I don't own the content, however, so I haven't been able to verify that the issue has been fixed. I
Okay.
believe what was going on is because there was some kind of weirdness going on with people who bought it, and then because it was technically delisted and then relisted, there was just some weird entitlements thing. And
Yeah.
Sony were able to figure out a way to like basically check some boxes and make it work.
Okay.
Um, I tend to keep a specific eye on things when PlayStation is mentioned as a PlayStation user myself. So I was keeping an eye on this when I saw it on the forums, and
Yeah.
I have no doubt that DTG are going to have this. In fact, I'm sure it's already sorted out.
Yeah.
But
Then we have Metro Rivals, which is the new Unreal Engine 5 Simulgraph Simcade train game, which I'm not that interested in, but has been touted as a way for Dovetail to like dip its toes in the water of Unreal Engine 5 and get to know it, and then maybe have a successor for TSW, like it's Unreal Engine 5 and Simulgraph. Who knows?
I'm not really going to get Metro Rivals either, mainly just because it's not the kind of game that I would play on my console. This is more a
Precisely.
game I would play on a tablet or a phone.
Yeah.
I don't really see why this has to have anything to do with Train Sim World, to be fair. I don't see why this can't literally just be Dovetail making an entirely new game in an entirely new engine that has nothing to do with Train Sim World.
But
Granted, it could very well be a testing of the waters
yeah.
for can we do this with Train Sim World? But Dovetail do make other games, and I just, especially everybody on the forums, absolutely losing their minds because why are you making this game and not fixing Train Sim World when like a company can have two completely different departments working on two totally
Yeah.
different things. I
Uh,
I just really haven't been paying attention to this Metro Rivals at all. It's
yeah.
not really something that I'm super duper interested in. And yeah, I'm trying to go against everyone else's grain who thinks that it's some kind of super secret, potentially Train Sim World, the next one, or I just think it's a highly different game, different from Train Sim World, just like the VR one was.
Yeah.
It's not going
True.
to test VR coming to Train Sim World. You know, it, it's just a game, so I have no interest in it. If it's interesting to people out there who want to play it, if it's your style of game, it certainly looks really nice. The graphics are,
Pretty
I
good
mean, it's
looking.
Unreal
Yeah.
5, of course they're going to be good. So it's not an indictment on the quality. It's just it's some people like tabletop games, some people like Jigsaw, some people like video games.
Yeah.
This isn't the style of game I want to play, unfortunately. So
Yeah. Um.
horses for horses.
Um. Dovetail Games will be at the To the Moon Expo in Birmingham on November 12th and 13th. Though people will get an exclusive first hands-on look at Metro Rivals. You can get 20% off tickets now using their code. And that's it. We've covered the entire roadmap. It only took us 1 hour 59 minutes. My goodness.
Oh, I think we definitely set the record. I noticed there were a few roadmap review thingy bobbies on my YouTube that I still have to go back and watch, and they were averaging about 20 minutes. I think
Yeah.
TSD and Rex Tactics, and I think yours even comes in at about 25-ish minutes.
Yeah.
I think, hang on a minute, was that a roadmap review or was that something different? Again, I'm confusing myself, but I let us off topic quite a few times. In fact, I
Uh,
seem to be doing it again right now.
it doesn't matter.
Um, so,
The point of this is for us to chat and talk about train sim and also about things that we like. So it doesn't really matter. If we go off tangent, it doesn't matter.
oh, no, it was, yes. No, I thought I remembered seeing a BNSF logo in 24 minutes, and it was Southwestern got one there. Anyway, well, I certainly did enjoy the banter, so that definitely helped. And it was interesting that although there wasn't a great deal in the roadmap that we didn't kind of already know we were getting, I feel like they saved the best for last with Firefly simulations, and
Definitely.
I think I'm just genuinely excited to see what comes out of this new partnership between them and Dovetail.
Yeah.
Partner program seems to be, yeah, it
Doing
seems
really
to be where
well.
all the good stuff is coming from.
Yeah.
Just Trains, All Aboard, yeah.
Dovetail seems to be taking a back foot. Only 2 new routes in the roadmap, and everything else is third party.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit mean here and say that's a good thing because I feel like Dovetail, as the owners of Train Sim World, should maybe let the third parties make some routes for a change, and
Yeah.
maybe they can spend their time a bit more on getting the game to work.
Yeah. That's what
Um, Not
I
that it
agree with you.
doesn't work, it does work, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done on
Oh,
Train Sim World
100%.
to make it the best game it can be. And now that we have, I don't think anyone would argue that we don't have rather a stable of talented third-party developers. We've got Just Trains, we've got Train Sim Germany. Rivet Games are starting to seem to
Yeah.
change course and make
Yeah.
quality content. I
They're on
think
their redemption arc.
they are, and there's enough third parties now where Dovetail can take the back foot and genuinely invest their time more heavily into finding out ways to save on memory, optimize the game, and just get it right, get it to at least a stable.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. So, I think that'll be all from us today. We've nattered for over 2 hours here in Melbourne, but I think we've dissected the roadmap pretty thoroughly, explored all possible permutations of everything, did some new theories, and we had a lot of fun. So that'll be all from me. And yeah. Oh, yes.
Likewise, that will be. So I'm just going to pipe in and say likewise. Obviously, that will be all from me. Um, Let us know what you think, though, in the comments below.
Yeah.
Do you have any theories about what any of this could mean? Have Maverick and I touched on anything maybe that you might have been thinking? Are we
Yeah.
completely wrong?
Yeah.
Comments. Get down in them, folks.
Yeah.
But
We
once again, I have
appreciate
also been
comments
Melbourne
even if
Train Guy.
you say that we're
We
wrong.
do. Well, how do we know that we're wrong if the kind people out there don't tell us that we are
Yeah.
wrong? Um, I am going to be quiet now and let Maverick wrap up his video so that I don't keep interrupting. But
No, it's
just for the
fine.
sake of all the editing and that, thank you very much for having me on the channel and on the video, Mav. I've had an absolute ball, and it was genuinely a really fun time, almost like a podcast than it
Yeah.
was a roadmap review.
Yeah. So that'll be all from us. We will hopefully see you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe to both our channels. They'll be linked down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.